So today we are taking you through your first ever guitar lesson. So you've decided you want to learn to play the guitar, fantastic. Let's get into today's session. Make sure before we get into this, guys, that you are clicking that subscribe button so that you're not missing out on any tips, tricks or hacks that we give you here on this channel. This is a channel specifically for beginners. The information that we're going to be giving you today is going to be for acoustic players and for electric players. So no matter what you've got, whether it's an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar, don't switch off, don't turn over. It's going to be applicable to everybody. So the first thing we want to talk about are the actual parts of the guitar. The parts that actually make up your instrument. Now this varies from instrument to instrument. Now there are a lot of differences for different types of guitars, but the one thing that we can say is that the guitar is made up of the same fundamental pieces, and that's body, neck and head. And these are the three main components that make up your guitar. The purpose of the body is where a lot of the warmth and the sound resonance comes from with your guitar. If you're an acoustic guitar player, the big hole in the middle, that's where the sound's going to resonate from. If you're an electric guitar, a lot of the sound and the tone that comes from your guitar is generated from the wood that's compiled into that body. So that's a really, really key part, and it's the main bulk of your instrument. On the neck is actually where the frets are laid out, and this is where the fret wire is actually placed. The fret wire isn't actually placed out in random spots. It's actually very calculated as to where the fret is actually put, and that's based on the scale of the neck of the guitar. So there's a lot of thought that goes into the design process on your guitar. So even if you've spent a little bit of money where you haven't gone over the top on your budget when you've bought your first guitar, don't worry, you've still got a pretty advanced piece of kit. And the head of the guitar is where your machine heads, or your tuning pegs as they're sometimes referred to, are actually placed, and it's where the guitar strings are actually tied up. And also on this electric guitar, you've got what are called the pickups. Now the pickups control the tone of the guitar. So on some acoustic guitars, you've got the option to either play it acoustically or plug it in with an amp. You'll have a pickup featured in that as well. The next thing we want to talk about is the strings. You've got 6 strings on a conventional guitar. For you metalheads out there, you'll be into bands like Korn and Meshuggah, where you've got instruments that are, using 7 and 8 string guitars. Your conventional guitar is what we're focusing on today. Now each of these strings has a name, and the names going from the bottom are E, B, G, D, A and E. And they get those names from the notes that they're actually tuned to. I get this question a lot from students when they're saying, well, why are the strings named that? It's basically just because of the notes that they're tuned to. So they're not tuned randomly. We won't get into the theory as to why the notes are tuned the way that they are, but the names of the strings come from the notes that are actually being played when you play that string with no fingers fretting the fretboard. So again, from the bottom, E, B, G, D, A and E. One way that we can remember the names of the strings, if we go from the top, is Eddie A Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie. Now that's actually top to bottom. So that's something that you can actually have in your back pocket there, just to remember the names of the strings. The other thing we should really talk about is how we sit with our instrument. Now I'm sat with my guitar in the conventional kind of sitting on right leg seating position. You do sometimes see guitar players play like this, which is more of a classical guitar seating position. Either is fine. I tend to go for this one here, and when I'm teaching beginner students, this tends to be the one that I advise the best, because just in terms of accessibility, I've always found that this one works the best. Now what a lot of people do when they first start out is they sit with the guitar kind of going flat across them, which is fair enough. That's the obvious assumption that you would do that. But what I would actually recommend, and this will particularly come in handy when it comes to learning things like chords, is you actually move that guitar out to a slight kind of 45-degree angle. And it means that your hand has got better access to lots of different parts of the fretboard. And the last thing I wanted to talk about today was picking the strings. So let's go to some close-ups and take a look at how we should be picking our strings when we're playing our guitar. Okay, so whether I'm picking a melody line or if I'm kind of improvising a solo, I want to make sure that I'm using the correct picking technique. Now, a lot of people get this wrong when they first start learning the guitar, and what people initially start doing, because it's instinctive to do this, is start picking the string kind of down. Everything they would do, they would just twang these strings down. That is definitely one way that you can pick the strings. However, this isn't what we would consider best practice. The best thing that you can start out doing is what's called alternating your picking direction. So if I take this low E string here, is I start picking it down and up. The reason why we do that is it actually gives you more of a consistent sound. If I'm picking a song, and let's say this song literally just goes like this. for 5 minutes. If I'm down picking that, eventually my hand's going to get tired, and what you'll notice is that the consistency of your timing is going to go off as well. So what you're doing here is you're kind of economizing movement by going down and up. So what I'd recommend doing is purchasing a metronome and just going very, very steady, down and up, down and up. And what you want to focus on doing is getting a consistent motion going. Once you can do that, you can speed it up. And what you'll find is that initially this isn't very instinctive. You'll find that this is a bit odd, but the more you do it, the easier it is going to be in the long run. For those of you that want more information about the picking technique, I'll put a link in the description to another video that we've done which outlines the in-depth mechanics of how to actually pick these strings. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any tips, tricks and hacks when it comes to learning guitar. And if there's something that you would like us to cover, please leave it in the comment section below. And if it's something that we can help you with, by all means, we'll do a video covering that material.